In the previous video we talked about how to overcome any shadow, how to do it in the simplest possible way with your mindset, by facing the shadow, by not pushing it away, not fighting, but accepting it, allowing yourself to feel it, whatever it should be, and thereby getting a good source self-connection, which is going to help you move through the shadow. In this video we're going to talk about a different way of doing it. It isn't as powerful or as useful as the one we talked about in the previous video, but this technique is very good for dealing with a lot of subtle little things that might be laying in the background very unconsciously, and thereby raising your vibration, raising your flow a lot, increasing your health, reversing your aging, and overall raising your frequency. For you to have the most out of this, you need to understand that the body has a lot of muscles, and the muscles can tense up. The muscles would benefit from being very strong, very relaxed. You also have a lymph system. It's essentially just a bunch of channels that are moving fluid through the body, things that needs to be eliminated throughout your body. And the lymph needs to flow, like a river. Sometimes, as we grow up, we might get certain mindsets and ideas, and those ideas might not be very good ideas. It can be all sorts of things. It can be any type of idea ever about who you need to be, what you need to look like, that you might not be so healthy, that you need to be rich. It can be anything, any type of idea. These ideas are creating certain tension in the body. And in this video we're going to talk about how to relieve that tension. Now, you don't need to do it in this way, but it can be very enjoyable. It can really be very essential to achieve certain results. By that I mean that in life you might sometimes get certain ideas. It could, for example, be an idea about corruption in the world, and you might not like that idea. And it might cause you to tense up a little, like you would do when you don't like something. This is going to create a stagnation, tension in your muscles here, and you are going to get these lines, which is totally fine. If you have those lines, that's fine. But you need to understand that you have trauma right there. You have a hindrance in your flow. You have a mindset stuck in your face. And that is totally fine. Most people do. But it's going to cause you to age. And you can deal with it with a simple massage. If you press on the right points, if you massage the muscles in the right way. And this might all sound a little hocus pocus, to some at least. And you're right, in a way. This isn't a very permanent fix, necessarily. The best thing, of course, is to deal with it by the root, take the root cause. And you can argue that you are actually doing that by massaging like this. And that is also true, you know. But you have to remember that you might not have a mental capacity to create a very neutral, high frequency, clean, simple mindset that is going to be able to handle life Because previously you didn't have the capacity to handle life. You had certain ideas and mindsets that caused you to tense up, and just by releasing that tension now, it doesn't mean that you're going to raise your consciousness to where you aren't creating it again. So the best thing, of course, is to do what I mentioned in the previous video, really develop a good ability to have a good source self-connection, and to face things on the go, to increase a good source self-connection on the go, so that you can take it by the root. Now, if you take it by the root, like I mentioned in the previous video, you are going to get the benefits that we are talking about in this video. It might be very instantly. If you recognize that you have something going on here, you can feel it as an energy in your face, a heavy energy that you would like to neutralize. Then you can choose to sit there with that feeling and face it, increase your source self-connection, accept the feeling. You might even be able to see what mindset it is that have gotten stuck in those muscles or in the lymph, and see it neutralize, see that the muscle is finally relaxing again, and that is a good way to deal with it. But don't be scared now. You can completely relax. The body has a lot of muscles. The body has a lot of space for storing trauma, and you might have more than you think. You might have tension in many places, slight blockages, and dealing with all of them by using your intent, like we talked about in the previous video, can be very draining, can be very heavy. And if you want a quick boost, then you can massage, like we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to talk about some more techniques than just massaging. We're going to talk about different spots to massage and how to recognize where you might need to massage. So let's get right to it. If you search up a picture of reflexology, or meridians, or tapping points on the body, then you're going to see that the body has a lot of points. You don't need to know about all of them. If you know about 10 to begin with, then you're going to be able to relieve yourself of pretty much any type of trauma, any type of blockages. It is going to work, and it's going to work very well, but like I said, it's not going to deal with the underlying reason that you have that trauma there. If you release that trauma and you aren't more educated about what type of maturity you need to be able to handle that type of situation in life, the situation where you previously have gotten a mindset, a certain idea, then you might just develop the same type of blockage again. So, in life, I want to know about everything, I want to understand everything, I want to recognize all situations and mindsets and ideas that possibly exist ever. And it can be very tough and challenging. I suggest that you are a little bit careful with that, unless it is something that you genuinely are determined to be able to handle, because all of those type of ideas can of course create a lot of blockages in your body. So if you now want to deal with certain things that might have either caused you to age, or get certain health problems, or get certain other type of issues, then do that, but don't start digging in places that you aren't interested in. If that isn't for you, then don't do it. Focus on the things that you care about. I hope you understood what that meant. If you don't care about all sorts of mindsets in this world, why do people do this and that, what exists out there, if you don't care about it, then don't care about it. Don't go and dig. It's going to cause you to tense up a little, and it might take a long journey before you're able to really handle it. The reason I say this is because, like I said, I want to know everything. And I'm not going to talk too much about myself now, but I had taken a bunch of LSD, tripping over hard. This is now many, many years ago. But LSD lasts for a long time. You sit there for 10 hours and delve into all sorts of ideas, everything. And it took a long time to get out of it. It was very damaging, so I'm just saying, take care of yourself. Be a little cautious, be a little careful. There isn't always a good time to watch a horror movie, if you understand what I mean. So, now let's get to it. I'm going to keep it simple for now. This is step 1. It's called EFT. It is more useful than you might think if you can take it seriously, if you can understand what I've said till now, especially when it comes to the fact that the body has a lot of muscles, a lot of lymph, a lot of meridians, and all your energies needs to flow, whether it is in muscles, lymph, or meridians. If you can recognize these few tapping points that I'm going to show now, then you can essentially use them for any type of issue you might have. Essentially, each of the points is a very general point. You have hundreds of points in the whole body. I'm going to show you maybe 10 now. Each of these points are going to cover probably 20 of all the other points that you will find. It's going to be, like I said, a general point that is going to stimulate the whole set of meridians that goes from that point. So by tapping on it, you are going to get a release from the type of trauma you have. You can have trauma in very many different areas of life, and these meridians are each covering all essential areas. So, you start this exercise by tapping here. This is going to put you into a state of being where you are more ready and capable of letting go. It's very essential. You need to start off by doing that. Now I want you to repeat constantly, on repeat, as you're doing this exercise, that you accept yourself and you forgive yourself. If you can accept and forgive yourself, you're going to put yourself back into neutrality, into a flow state. And you need to repeat this as you are tapping. Now, I also want you to be aware of what it is that you want to overcome as you do this. You might have a certain tension in your forehead. You could have, for example, breathing problems. You could have whatever it should be. If you have an issue that you want to deal with, become aware of it. Then you start tapping. Keep this issue in mind and tell yourself, I accept and forgive myself. Then you move up here, I accept and forgive myself. And then here, I accept and forgive myself. And then here, in the outer brow, I accept and forgive myself. Then here, under the eye, I accept and forgive myself. Upper lip, lower lip, here under the collarbone, here on the side. And then you grab your hand like this, and you breathe deeply. and you wait till you feel the flow circulating. Now before you start this exercise, give your issue a rating. Do you have a level 7 pain, or whatever it should be? Is it a level 7? Then you do this exercise, and you might feel that it goes down to a level 4. Then you can do it again, and you might get it down to 0, or 1, or 2. If you take it seriously, you allow yourself to feel the issue that you're dealing with. You remember to feel the acceptance and the forgiveness, then this is going to be very useful. Now, a different exercise you can do is to simply just press on different muscles, and if you ever feel any pain, any numbness in that muscle, then you have a blockage there. The muscle is tense, and you would benefit from massaging it. You can just massage it lightly. You can even start off like this and just tap it a little bit. Go through the same type of thing we just talked about. If you want to search up that previous exercise, it's called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. It is what it is. It's pretty good stuff. Now, like I said, if you have any pain as you're pressing on a muscle, that could be any specific type of spot. You can even search up reflexology and try to press on different spots that you will find. If you have any pain, give it some massage. I would highly recommend that if you do this, drink some water first. If you decide to watch a few movies and do this while you watch a movie, then you can absolutely do that. It's probably going to be a good time. But drink enough water, a lot of water. It's just going to help everything flow better. I want to throw in there also that you can do this to reverse aging. I want to mention also that if you want to reverse aging, then retrieve your energies and clean them. If you have any sensation that maybe something has started to sag, maybe your lips are a little downwards, and you know that you have some stagnation here, you can deal with it in any of the type of ways that we have talked about now, but essentially you just want to achieve flow. I would recommend that you try to become aware if there are some energies there that you can retrieve. When you have retrieved them, you clean them, and think baby, newborn baby, healthy, without a care in the world, completely chilling hard. And when it comes to these things, any type of shadow work or growth, you get out of it whatever you put in. Don't get too caught up in anything. If I mentioned that we might have a lot of stagnation or tension or lack of flow, don't get too caught up in it. You work perfectly fine the way you are now. Maybe you have a little issue that stands out, but you really work fine. Nothing to get crazy about, nothing to panic about. The body is amazing and you work just fine. But you can always work a little better. You can always be in a higher frequency, more complete, more whole, more flowing. Can always be better, sure. But careful with how you choose to think about this. You don't want to get overly concerned about it. Make it a fun little thing that you can do now and then, to grow, to overcome, to deal with things. Now, if you have benefited from this video, kindly consider becoming a supporter. Abundance, health and prosperity to you. Thank you so much.